Okay, everyone, we're back. Another episode of Norton Man Reviews, and we are looking at an issue of X-Men, again by Andy Kubert. This is issue, I think, 45. Oh my god, look at the damage on this. I think it's 45. Yeah, it's 45. This issue had been water damaged. When I was young collecting comics, I just had them in cardboard boxes, and I had them on a floor in my bedroom. In a basement, and my mother, love you mom, but she was watering her garden and she just let the hose go, and the water seeped down through the window well of the basement, my basement room, and just flooded my room. And a lot of my comics got damaged and ruined because of it. The water damage, like you can see, like they were stuck together here. And I had to pull them apart. It's messed up there. This one I was able to salvage more or less, but you can definitely see the damage here. So I call it the Great Flood, a victim of the Great Flood. And it happened twice. Ugh. I mean, after that, I was like, okay, I got better boxes and I put them up off the ground and I learned my lesson, but I was young, early teenager, 13, 14, 15 maybe, I don't know. Anyways, X-Men number 45. This is a special X-Men anniversary issue, I guess. Let's see what year this came out. 1995. When did they come out? 65? Maybe. So it's issue number 45. It's not a particular X-Men anniversary special issue like 50 or 25 or 100 or anything like that. Just number 45, but the timeline, they're doing a big thing. They did the same thing with Uncanny X-Men. That's where they played the softball game. And each of them had this fold-out cover. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit the whole thing in here. Four covers. So the main one, you got Rogue and Gambit there. That's the selling point. I guess you can look at it up and down like this too. Like let's go this way. So you got X-Men, cool title. Rogue and Gambit fighting. Why? We'll get into that. Mr. Sinister, what does he have to do with this? We'll get into it. And Iceman, what is he doing here? I told you, we'll get into it. Jesus Christ, guys, come on. So Andy Kubert's art, I talked about it a little bit. His style I like, especially during this era, even though he does some weird anatomy and weird, like twisting of the bodies and stuff. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but like the power is kind of there. He's kind of like in a Rob Liefeld kind of a way, but significantly better. Can't go on a Norton YouTube video without someone bashing Rob Liefeld, right? Anyways, let's get into it. So where are we in this storyline? After X-Men Age of Apocalypse, and right before that happened, for some reason, the M'Kraan crystal was coming down. Everyone thought they were going to die. I don't know what happened with that ultimately, but Rogue and Gambit, they had been developing a little romance, flirtation since the early X-Men issue, Jim Lee issues. But Rogue can't touch anybody. Gambit's willing to take the risk, but she's not, because it's happened to her before, and it fucks with her head, and it hurts the person that she touches. So she's not willing. But they all thought they were going to die with the M'Kraan crystal as it was coming, and so at the last second, they pull into each other and they kiss. For the first time, and Gambit got zapped. Then we go into the Age of Apocalypse. Then we come back, right? And Gambit was fucked up. He was in a coma for a while, and Rogue took off. Something she saw in his mind freaked her out, but she is having a hard time remembering what it was or knowing fully what it was. So she just had to go. She had to go get out onto the road, just time to herself to think, and Iceman, Bobby Drake, went with her for reasons. I don't remember why. He wasn't crushing on her. He was just, a guy. He was a friend helping her out. And Rogue is wearing a sexy ass outfit with cowboy boots and Daisy Duke jeans, and you know, you can't see it here, but then this top here I told you about. Oh, I'm sure we'll see it. But it's, you know, she's just going more and more little nuts. I think you can see her eyes right there glowing red like Gambit's. Why his eyes glow red, I don't know. Power stuff. But she's throwing something, I guess, at him. I told you to leave me alone. I told you to. I mean, I guess it works there. Sometimes, like, you don't need to write fucking weird accents like that. And then we got Gambit. I'm sure we're going to see more weird accents. So, starts off and she's pissed. She's in the air. She's flying. She's fucking strong and can fly. That's when Rogue was at her coolest. She's throwing a boulder. And again, like in all X-Men comics, it has to explain what's going on and who she is. If she she's immune. If she touches someone, blah, blah, blah. And she did it to Gambit, put him into coma. It put Rogue on the run. And to put it mildly, it left her feeling a little confused. That's a cool opening page. Opening splash page. And she's throwing it at Iceman here. He blocks it. What is going on here with his powers? I mean, his powers are getting more and more like, he's not just in his ice form where he makes a slide and shoots people with ice. He can make some like crazy shit on him, like ice armor and whatever. And I think that has to do something with the White Queen fucked with his head. Maybe that's why he's with her, because his head is kind of messed up too. Anyway, she throws a boulder at him. He ices up. There's a car back there they were driving. It's on its side. Weird stance they got him in. I don't know, even in his weird ice form, it's just a weird proportions. I don't know. So I like that, but I like that picture of Rogue up there. That's, looking sexy. She's flying in that little outfit, crop top, Daisy Dukes, cowboy boots. That's hot. Rogue has always been like one of my crushes. Her and Wonder Woman, man. But they don't know where they're even going. And Iceman was like, where are we going? What are we doing? And like, she just had enough of it, and she, kind of lost her shit and threw a boulder at him. So that's going, and he's kind of trying to calm her down, bring her down, because, she's powerful, and if, she could hurt herself, potentially hurt someone. So he's trying to cool her off, he says, because he's Iceman. He has ice. She's like, I don't want to calm down. I just want to know what's wrong with me. And she's freaking out, busts out of his ice. Chance to draw her ass right there. So Iceman gives her a minute alone. They've done this a few times, and he comes up. That's kind of a cool use of his powers. He's like, I'm sorry, I keep pushing you, but, I want to help, so whatever, if you know what your problem is, I can, your problems are my problems. And she's like, I know you want to help, but it's too late for everything. And they're just like hanging out up there in the sky. So they come down, and he says, I know that you got something bad from Gambit, some painful memory which brought us to Seattle. It's like, we can turn around right now and go to the, Mount Rushmore, do something. But she says, no, we got to keep going. Whatever is in my head, whatever's leading us here, even though she doesn't know, there's no turning back now. She has to confront what's going on, or she's going to be running from the truth for the rest of her life. So we got Gambit here, and there's an issue of X-Men. It might have been in that softball issue. he was at the X Mansion and he got a call and it was from Rogue. Yeah. And I don't know how he figured this out. I mean, I think Gambit knows what's going on, and he figured out where she's headed, to Seattle. So I like his little, it's not a word thought bubble. It's these playing cards. There's an ace of spades. They're like all these cards because, Gambit throws cards. That's kind of his whole deal. So he's talking in his own head, monologuing to himself. And he's just, what is he talking about? He's like, what has love done to you? Gave up everything with the Thieves Guild. He's in the rain. He's talking about how there's tears running down his face. It's a good thing it's raining. But he wants to make sure that Rogue is okay before she gets hurt. And make sure you don't find out the truth. Do you know the truth of what Gambit did? I do. It's in some X-Men issues Uncanny X-Men issues that I'll get to. So, let's see. The Blackbird, he cloaks the Blackbird, and he's like walking through the streets. Again, thinking to himself, thinking about the kiss, one hell of a kiss. He's like the kind of kiss a gambler would risk the pot for. So even though it fucked him up, like it was worth it apparently. He's like, but would he do it all over again? What would I do? Don't know. So they're at a bar outside the University of Washington, and all these guys are just checking out Rogue. Now it's an okay drawing. It doesn't convey her sexiness the way. You get that she's arched over. She's wearing the skimpy fucking thing. She's Rogue, arguably one of the hottest member of the X-Men. I mean, there's Storm and Psylocke and Jean Grey. But she just kind of oozes some sexuality with her Southern Belle charm and whatever. So in that fucking outfit, she's bent over, and she's like, any you sweeties want to get me a beer? And these guys, everyone's just like, yes, like here you go. I just like these drawings of the hands and the fists for whatever reason. And she's like, thank you. And she's talking about, oh, your cheeks are so cute, you could pinch them. So she's like flirting with them. She's not wearing any gloves, so she could potentially touch them. But somebody comes in, it's Iceman, and grabs her hand away, and he has like a napkin or something, so no skin-to-skin contact. And she's like pissed again, leave me alone. He's dripping wet because ice and stuff like that. And he's like, she's like, sorry, but I'm protecting them as much as I'm protecting you. And these guys are like, don't do us any favors. The girl wants to party, let's let her. So these guys are going to like fight her, and they're like, you don't want to go there. And he's going into the ice for him. And nothing else comes of that, Everyone's like, did it get cold? So she runs off. She yells at him again. She's like, she's mad because she's heard it a million times. Can't touch, can't do this, can't do that, ever. And she busts open the wall, I guess. She's complaining. She has a right to be upset. I'm not saying complaining like how dare she. But they're just talking about the same old shit. So I like this little sequence of events. They're just kind of arguing a little bit. They're not arguing. She's just mad and venting to him, and he's just taking it. But I like the same shot so you can see kind of the emotion. Turning back, yelling at him, just arms up in frustration, curling over, just in sadness, anger, whatever. God, what did she fucking hit? The bar or something? Poor people. And again, what did you take from Gambit that's so bad? I don't know. Or I'm scared to find out. Like, we know you don't know. Like, they keep kind of saying the same plot line over and over. Like, something in Gambit's head that she has now in her head, and she doesn't know, and it's bad. And she has to find out the truth. Like, God, I get it. She's mad. So she busts out of there. She flies out straight up. It's a down shot. And the ceiling's caving in. The Iceman supports it with his ice, and these guys, they're muties. They're ready to fuck these guys up because they're all racist assholes. And then you heard about what they did in New York. I think that's the stuff with the Morlocks. What did they call those? The next generation of Morlocks, the kids. Who cares? Mara and all them. And they're talking about, and they got that disease, the legacy virus disease. So they're gonna they want to fuck up Iceman, even though he just saved them. But Gambit comes busting in, throws a card down. Kind of a cool hero shot. Cool jacket with the shadows. Again, his stupid ass outfit makes no sense. Like the design, is it armor? Is it not? Who designed that? Was it Silvestri? Was it Jim Lee? Who was it? Either way, they should get a slap in the face. But it is an iconic Gambit look. I'm sorry. All right. So he breaks up the fight and he doesn't save Iceman. I'm sure Iceman could take care of himself. So they're like, we gotta go find Rogue. We gotta help her. And he's like, do you know what's going on with her? Any ideas what it might be? He's like, yeah, I got plenty of ideas. And he's like, you want to share them? And he's like, nope. Okay. So it cuts to somebody watching the news, and it's Graydon Creed. He is a successful businessman, it says. He leads the Friends of Humanity. Later in issues, like it is revealed, I don't know at this time, he's the son of Sabretooth and Mystique, I think. And he's going to run for office too. And his platform is all about like muties suck. Oh yeah, and here it is. This is where he, this guy, whoever this is, basically tells him you should run for office. Creed in '96. So who won the election? Bill Clinton, right? At that time, yeah. All right. So you see the Seattle Needle? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Still. Gambit's thought cards, thought pattern, whatever, the cards with his thoughts going on. And they're at some theater, an old rundown theater. You see it's the curtains are tattered and torn down, and there's just debris and sets are falling down, whatever. And that's where she is. Fox Kids Network. Back when like cartoons were cool, you'd watch Spider-Man, you watch X-Men, you watch The Tick. Did you ever watch Eek the Cat? Or Bobby's World? I never really watched those. I liked Eek the Cat because he had this like girlfriend who was really overweight, and everyone saw a picture and they're like, she's really fat. And he's like, really? He never saw it, but it didn't matter to him. So good on you, Eek. So Gambit and Iceman come zooming in. Kind of a crazy shot. It's like an overhead shot, but not. And it just kind of seems weird, like how big this dock is compared to these buildings, the angles and the views. I don't know, whatever. So they come to this place, and there's where Rogue is, and they're like, "How did you know, Gambit?" He's like, "Just a stab in the dark," but he fucking knew. And Gambit asks if he can talk to her first, so just kind of hang out. So she wasn't expecting him to show up. He comes and he does a superhero landing, hurts his knees. Weird foot. Doesn't look quite right, does it? But she's, she didn't know she was out of his coma. She's like, "You're alive. You're all right." He's like, "We need to talk." And she says, "That's funny. That's the last thing I thought you'd want to do right now. Because what's wrong with me came from you." And he's like, "I know, but do you know?" She's like, "Okay, so if you were here to talk, let's talk." He says, "I came to help. I want you to stop hurting." But she wants to know what's going on in his past, because whatever it is isn't good for him, isn't good for her. It's too big to ignore. You can't just say, like, "Let's go home and everything will be all right." She grabs this curtain and wraps herself up in it. And they're talking about their relationship a little bit. She's like, "How can I ever love you, really love you, if I can't trust you?" And it's like, "How can I ever love you if I can't touch you?" He's like, "We've been through this and beyond it, I thought. We got beyond it. But this time it's different. It's not Sabretooth jerking around or anything like that. I don't know why they brought up Sabretooth. But she yanks down the fucking curtain. And he looks up like, and it just pulls down all the lighting and the beams and whatever scaffolding and shit like that comes crashing down. So he has to jump away, but he's talking about, he just woke up from a coma. His reflexes aren't what they used to be. So, he doesn't want to fight her. I don't think she wants to fight him, but she's just kind of going crazy, and then she kicks this pillar or post or whatever, this support wall. And again, stuff crashes down. He's like, here we go again. And Gambit it's kind of hard to see, but you see him like flipping in the air and landing, another superhero landing, as she's like flying out there. And what is he? He's thinking to himself, more just, I don't know, stuff to fill up pages, I feel. All right, so Iceman is up there, and he's trying to get her to stop. And he's like, this time you can't just keep running away. So he's trying to ice her down. And you can't ignore what's happening to you. And she kind of puts it back on him. Like, you have the way you dealt with your dad. I guess his dad was kind of like a racist, a mutant-hating asshole. And she says, or what Emma Frost did to your mind. It's like, don't judge me before you look in the mirror. And he's like, okay, you're right. I came with you to avoid my life as much as you yours, but I'm not judging you. Like, let's make a deal. Let's try to both straighten ourselves out. No more hiding, no more running. But she's like, it says it's not that simple. What Gambit knows, it terrifies him. What could he be hiding? So she knows that he knows something, and it's like really scaring him, and it's messing with her. So what is it? Gambit, he charges up this rope with this like sandbag or whatever and throws it at Rogue. Why? I guess they felt they needed some action in this issue. But he wants to keep Rogue on the ground because like Iceman can't keep up with her if she decides to take off. And she needs to be stopped. She needs to come down right now. Needs to come down to her level. So she comes crashing down. Again, more debris is falling down. It's kind of burying her, but she's fine. I like this picture there. Her on her hands and knees, her just on the ground, on her knees, kind of like lifting the shit up off her. Again, a lot of words here. Just kind of like going like they're woe is me after everything that's going on. First, Mystique making me do things I didn't want to. Professor X saying he helped me with my powers. Talk about true love, making me think it might come true. And he's like, so leaving me is the answer? Leaving? So he says, let's deal with this. And again, she's like, what happened here? What is it? Like, I don't even know your feelings to know how much this place bothers you. I can see it in your eyes. It's buried, Rogue. Good dirt on top of bad. She's like, why won't you tell me? Because we said what was ain't going to stop us. And she's like, I need to know the truth. It's killing you. Let's face it together. He says, I can't. Oh, God. More stuff. They're just, again, kind of complaining about their situation. You know something. It's fucking me up. It's fucking you up. It's like, but how can I live thinking that I'll never be able to kiss you again? She says, don't say that. He says, don't say that. She says, but it's true. I can kiss your tears. I can taste your sadness. We'll find ways to touch body and soul. So Gambit really does love her. I mean, he probably saw her at first. He's like, damn, that girl's hot. I want to, get inside her pants. But he is like in genuine love with her. And he's like willing to find ways to be with her. And it doesn't have to be intimate. I'll do whatever I can to help you. he's like, you've given me all you've got, and it wasn't enough. And he says, I'll find a way to give you more. So he takes off his glove right here, and he gives it to her as she's on the ground. I want you to touch me, be inside me again. Become me, let me become you. So he's offering to, like, let's touch again. You can know more about me. No secrets, no shame. We can be together. We can take care of this issue, deal with the past together as one, but the choice is yours. I like these two bottom panels. Her sadness in her face there. Him looking at her, offering her his hand. Oops. She's looking at it there, and she's thinking, crying, and turning away. See, you don't need fucking words everywhere all the time to tell a story. Sometimes the visuals can do it for you. Like, this would have been so much worse if there was, like, words plastered over this. So good job on the restraint there. I know it's an X-Men comic. And you're probably like, oh, I need to put something there. So she says, she turns away from his offer. So they're like, okay, what now? She wants more time to herself, leaving the X-Men for a bit. And she says, be strong, be in control, Bobby. I know you can do it if you try. And Gambit says, what about us? I love you. And she tells him, I love you too, from the first time I laid eyes on you. I thought, honey, this snake trauma is as close to Prince Charming as you're ever gonna get. Sorry I couldn't live up to your expectations, but she's like, but that's the saddest part. You did. You were exactly what I expected. And she leaves like that. That's, again, weird Andy Kubert, like, body proportions and flying into the air and arching her back, pointing her boobs right at you. I mean, it works, but it's kind of disorienting with the dock back here, and I guess they couldn't bother to color in the water. Maybe, I don't know why. No colors, don't ask me. Okay, so she leaves, and Gambit's, she's gone. She took my breath away. He's sad. And Iceman is trying to comfort him. She'll be back. She's like, maybe to the X-Men, but not to me. So Iceman is like, you ready to go home? But Gambit wants to stay. He needs some time to himself. So Iceman leaves. Gambit stays. So a couple of days passed. He's walking around. He's smoking, and it's coughing up a lung because it's hard to, smoke. And so he flicks his cigarette away, and a foot comes out of the darkness and steps on it. And he gets mad. He's like, what are you doing here? And he says, you and me, we were squared a long time ago. Gambit's pissed at whoever this is. He knows who it is. So he says, we are what we are, Remy LeBeau. That cannot be changed. You can no more pretend to be an X-Man at heart, a faithful follower of Charles Xavier. And you start to see who it is. Then can I. It's Mr. Sinister. He's like, I want to be here and in your time of need. Just as I was once before. And also, I wanted to provide you with a gentle reminder that soon it will be time to play the hand which Sinister dealt you. And then, just like Rogue, he's gone, just like that. And what is this? I mean, what is going on? What is the connection between Mr. Sinister and Gambit? I mean, if you know, you know, and I know, and I'll get to it eventually. I don't want to really spoil it here. The answer isn't quite as bad as I was expecting. I mean, I guess it's bad, but whatever. And so it's gone. He's gone just like that, shoving back into place everything that Rogue took with her. It reminded me how much I hate the taste of who I was, who I am, and worst of all, who I will be. And that's the end of the issue. So, there you go. Not a great, like, nothing was really accomplished here. You know, there's a mystery of what's going on with Rogue. What did she know about going on with Gambit? And you were hoping that there'd be some answers in this issue, and there ultimately wasn't at all. It was more about their relationship and their love for each other and how it's not as easy for them as it is for other people. I mean, love never is easy, but for these guys and what's going on with them and being mutants and everything is even harder, I guess. Not a bad story. Nothing to be, like, gaga about. Sorry, I'm just looking at this shit over here. Exiles, whatever. Okay, that's all the end of that issue. I did a couple of Andy Kubert issues in 2 separate videos. And what are we going to look at now? We got some more X-Men, and I think I got some DC stuff to look at. So stay tuned and keep watching. Thanks, everyone.